Hola, hola, adeu, adeu. Hola a todos, soy Eloy, aunque ponga Sofía. Soy el técnico que os retransmitirá a través de YouTube. Ah, hola, hola Fer, también ha llegado.
Hola,
Hola a todos.
buenas.
Entonces, según lo que yo tenía entendido, vamos a meter más gente. Ya van llegando todos. Vale. Que yo sepa, Miriam traduce francés. ¿Es así?
Hola, Miriam.
Hola.
Miriam ahora
Sí.
tiene activado.
Ahora os oigo.
Perfecto.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien. ¿Qué tal, Miriam?
Bien. ¿Tú quién
Entonces,
eres? ¿Tú
yo
eres
soy...
Sofía?
No, no soy Sofía, no. Soy Eloy.
Hola, Eloy.
Me
Y luego
presento.
debajo veo a Fernando también.
Muy bien.
Yo
Sí.
soy intérprete de la cabina francesa española.
Muy bien. Pues te asigno la cabina francesa, ¿vale?
Muy bien. Una cosa, espera, voy a volver a leer a ver si lo vais a hacer igual que la primera que hice, y era que yo entraba por 2 sitios. No sé si eso se ha cambiado ya. Entraba como intérprete por teléfono y a ver cómo era. Yo os escuchaba, o sea, tenía como dos enlaces, ¿no? Uno entraba con el teléfono para oíros, o sea, no sé muy bien de qué servía ese, y el otro era para hablar, que entraba con otro enlace desde el ordenador. ¿Eso se ha cambiado o seguimos con ese sistema?
Es así.
¿Es así?
Es así. Porque cuando interpretas, si no pierdes la señal principal.
Entonces,
Es el mismo enlace, pero con 2 usuarios distintos. O sea, entras con tu móvil y con tu ordenador.
entro al mismo. Bueno, pues
Sí,
voy
quizás
a entrar.
quizás alguna compañera tuya te lo tiene más claro.
Bueno, yo lo vuelvo a hacer. Es que la otra vez me mandasteis 2, ¿no? Pero vamos, si es el mismo, voy a entrar también
Sí.
por el móvil.
Es para mantener todo el rato el original de la reunión en tus auriculares.
Sí,
Mientras que donde interpretas, tú solo hablas cuando tienes que interpretar.
sí, de acuerdo.
Muy bien. Pues te asigno el canal francés. A veure... Vale. Vamos a ver.
Voy a probarlo todo.
De acuerdo. ¿Me puedes hablar un poquito, Miriam?
Sí, sí. Es la primera vez que usa Zoom en este dispositivo. Uy, va. No. A ver, ¿por qué me dice esto? Espera, voy a buscar a mi hija que me ayude, que no sé muy bien por qué me dice esto ahora. ¿Sabes? Como introduzca la ID de reunión. Uf, porque me dice, bueno, un momentito, voy a buscar a mi hija que está por ahí que me ayude, porque no sé por qué me dice.
Vale. Por mi parte está todo bien, ¿eh? Bueno.
Hola, Eloy, ¿me oyes? Soy
Eh,
Daniela.
bueno, Fer, por mi parte está bien. Se escucha por la sala de francés y eso. Sí. Hola, Daniela. ¿Cómo
Hola,
estás?
aquí.
Ahora ha desaparecido interpretación,
Daniela,
Eloy.
entiendo que traduces al italiano.
Eso es. Entonces me creas italiano, español, español, italiano, ¿sí?
Por 2 sitios.
¿Cómo?
Que me vas a crear italiano, español, español, italiano.
O unirse por iPhone en un
Sí.
clic.
¿Tú qué quieres con el iPhone o con el?
Tengo con los dos. Mira, pues mira, entonces dime lo que tengo que hacer.
Perfecto.
Mira lo que me dice.
Y yo solo entro con
Daniela,
esta conexión, ¿eh? No.
Como Zoom no tiene italiano asignado, seréis
Pero
ruso.
tengo que volver a entrar con el mismo enlace, entro por 2 sitios. Entonces yo
¿Pero
me
tienes el enlace?
¿Cómo?
A ver.
¿Zoom no tiene italiano asignado?
A ver, Zoom en sus opciones de idiomas.
Sí que hay
Miriam,
ahora.
Miriam, por favor, ¿podrías cerrar el micro?
No.
Ah, no puede ahora.
Aquí.
Vale,
Vale.
¿qué es eso?
En las
Pues,
opciones que te da de idiomas el Zoom que tenemos no sale el italiano.
Ah,
Los
porque lo han
presentadores dirán que el ruso será el italiano.
Perfecto, ya lo veo en la pantalla. Entonces digo que sí, va.
Vale, a Daniela la hemos dejado de oír en la sala principal, supongo que porque se le ha asignado la sala de italiano. Daniela, ahora no
Exacto.
te oímos.
Esto
¿Tú
ya
nos
lo
oyes?
hice yo.
¿Tú nos oyes a nosotros? Vale. Como tienes la cabina italiano, ¿vale? Lo que pasa es eso, que si tú quieres intervenir o quieres hablar, tendrías que tener otro usuario abierto para poder hablar en la reunión principal. Por eso se abre otro dispositivo. Y con uno interpretas y con el otro estás como si fueras uno más. ¿Vale? No sé, Miriam, si lo has entendido.
Sí, sí, os estaba escuchando. Lo que pasa, tengo un problema con mi móvil. No sé por qué no me deja entrar por ahora, pero me están ayudando.
No pasa nada. Lo importante es si el hoy.
Yo recibo la señal
Vale.
en su idioma, sí. Vamos a ver. Dejadme revisar.
Por ahora no me habéis metido en cabina, ¿verdad? Porque no veo el símbolo abajo de francés, español.
Ahora te asigna el hoy.
Sí, a ver, un momentito.
Hola, Daniela.
Vale. Del francés, español y ponemos Miriam.
Creo que somos 2 en la cabina. Ah, ya lo veo. Bienvenido. Será asignado un TFT.
¿Sí? ¿Lo has recibido bien?
Sí. Ok.
Perfecto. Pues vamos a probar otra vez el francés.
Eloy, una cosa, está saliendo el audio ya por el streaming.
Vale, pues vamos a apoyar.
Me he empezado a oír de repente y he flipado.
Muy bien. Ok, vale. Claro, tú, Fernando, estás escuchando el
Las
canal de inglés en
traducciones.
directo, ¿no?
You want
Sí.
to? I can continue speaking if you want to test.
Es perfecto en inglés. Pues hola, buenas tardes a todos y todas. Parece que estamos ya.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I think we're live. This is our presentation on accepting the challenge, transformative economies in a COVID-19 context. My name is Fernando Paniagua. I am part of the Solidarity Economy Fair in Catalonia. And I'll be presenting during today's session. I also have my colleagues with me from Collectic. In terms of practical issues, we've already been going for a week in this forum, so I'm sure that some of you will have already taken part in different sessions. For those of you who are using Zoom, you can select the interpretation channel for simultaneous interpretation into English, French, Russian, although this is actually the Italian, and into Spanish. So you can find out your interpreter. Throughout the session, there will be interpretation. You would have seen my partner just go behind me on the screen. So let's get down to it. This is the 5th day of our social forum on transformative economies. And this is one of the events led by the organizing committee. We've had various debates, movements, meetings between the different movements, confluences. And we will be taking up these ideas and continuing with them until at least October. This is the work of at least 2 years. We were trying to avoid some of the problems that we've had with previous sessions, where people think about what kind of things that we can achieve in the future, but failing to account for what we have already achieved, what kind of transformative policies we've already been putting in place every day. And so this is where we would like to place the focus now, on some of the practices and initiatives relating to transformative economies, ideas and concepts that we are currently dealing with at the moment. We would like to support this process. We've prepared a presentation. So if everything is going well, Eloy, our technician, is just helping us to get started with all the technology and making sure that all of the language channels can be heard. And then he will put it on the presentation for me. In any case, you can ask questions in the chat whenever you like. Those of you who are watching streaming will also be able to ask questions. He'll make sure that they reach us. We've been running for 4 years now. Some of you may remember that our focus is these 4 different dimensions: agroecology and the food sovereignty movement, the commons. We also talk about the social and solidarity economy and feminist economies. We also talk about transformative policies and public actions. To the next slide, please. So we've been focusing on 4 areas of transformation. Before I get to that, I just wanted to explain that we are now seeking out initiatives that can help us to respond to the great global challenges Of course, they're particularly acute in the COVID-19 crisis, but they also were around before. And we're looking for concrete practices, not abstract policies. So these need to be localized practices. There are many different organizations that have participated in this process. And now it is over to you to sign up your initiatives. From your initiatives, we will collect proposals, and we will open a space where we can collect all of this together. To the next slide, please. So, as I was saying, we have been focusing on these 4 areas of transformation, which are at the heart of our debates and the heart of all of the discussions taking place with the different confluences. We've been talking about knowledge, eco-financial flows, nature, power flows, and this has been an area for discussion. Discussions that will lead us towards a common agenda and will help us to form this pact of transformative economies. So the discussions will continue until at least October. Now, we've categorized these challenges into 3 categories: socio-political challenges, environmental challenges, and techno-scientific challenges. This helps us to be more practical in our approach. Could you go on to the next slide, please? As you can see, socio-political challenges relate to the transformation of the economy, power, and politics. And we're thinking in particular about representative politics. But also things that relate to us as human beings, not just abstract concepts such as democracy. Then there are environmental challenges such as transforming models, the agro-food business, and the extractivist model. All of this relates to the neoliberal order that we live in. And so these are important areas of discussion. And finally, there are techno-scientific challenges which relate to research, digital cooperatives, and how cooperatives are fighting against the unicorn model, and also hardware and software for a free culture society. Of course, our approaches will be evolving over the course of our discussions, but these are our focuses. Of course, we'll be also considering fighting the patriarchy, for example, and other issues. Now, my speech is not going to be very long. Let's move on to the next slide. Anybody can register an initiative here. Doesn't matter whether you've been part of the WSFTE process before. You can go onto the forum website so that you can follow the process. Now, I think we're moving towards the section that Nuria will explain to you shortly. It's going to be more practical. But I just want to explain what we're going to do with these initiatives. When the process is open, there will be various processes going on. It will be feeding into an inter-initiative space. And it will help us to select proposals for later funding. So we were looking at a sponsorship model. It's inspired by collective approaches from the past, and the idea is that we should be exchanging concrete proposals between different groups on at a global level, so that there can be shared support. So each initiative will have different resources available, And we'll be considering the different resources that will be needed to carry out the initiative. So the idea is that it's a collective supportive process for us to help these initiatives develop. All of the initiatives will continue to be built on over the summer through the forum, and those that receive the most support will be presented in October in the second stage of the World Social Forum for Transformative Economies, and in the framework of the fair, fair in Catalonia. We're working with ethical finance organizations and different funding groups, and this will help us to open a funding round.
Moi, je suis dans la réunion Acceptamos el Reto, de laquelle tu peux venir pour écouter ce qui se passe.
Si podéis silenciar a Pierre, por favor.
Bon, bah, ok, alors tu es là à 6 heures, tu peux pas à 6 heures, c'est ça?
Gracias, Pierre.
Okay, bon, bah,
so we'll just mute Pierre.
El calendario es que hoy abrimos y presentamos oficialmente esta propuesta, aunque el
So
calendario...
here's the calendar. Today we are opening the floor to proposals. Could you turn off your microphone, please, Pierre? So let's carry on. As of today, you'll be able to see the forum. It will be online. And during this period, from today until the 25th of October, we'll be collecting various proposals. There'll be voting on the different proposals and collection of support. We'll be deciding which initiatives will be gaining the most support and will continue to develop. And then in October, during the forum, we'll be presenting them. We don't know exactly how many, but we're expecting around 20 to 30 proposals in total. And we may end up with around 15. So the coordinating committee will also go through a selection process. So after the forum in October, there is another stage, which is the final stage where we publish the initiatives in book form. We'll be able to publish them in a virtual space. And it will help different organizations around the world to connect. We hope that it will have an international impact because it will ensure that these proposals are made visible around the world. And this will also mark the opening of the funding round. So that was more or less everything that I wanted to explain to you. I'm now going to hand the floor to Nuria, who's going to continue and explain the more practical side of things. We just have a problem with the French interpretation. They're just discussing things in the chat. I don't know if it's possible to just solve that. We're hoping to have translation in all of the languages. If you have any issues with the French translation, please could you try opening the streaming? Then you can enter the live channel for French translation. I'm going to just put the link for streaming in the chat. Just try and see if that works. Somebody's suggesting that they might be on mute. I don't know if that problem has been solved yet. Okay, let's continue.
Bueno, si Eloy puede avanzar la presentación.
So to the next slide, please, Eloy. I just wanted to add that these will be the selection criteria for the proposals. These are not set in stone. It's something that we're still working on. But anyway, we can continue with the presentation. Thank you, Nuria. I think Fer has explained most of the process, but I just wanted to focus on the interactive nature of the platform. We'll be creating a space on that website. It will be a participatory process. Whether it will be a form in which you can add your proposals. Let's continue the presentation. So the form is very simple. It has a little series of prompts. There seems to be an echo. We'll just take a moment to solve this technical problem. If you are not muted, please mute yourself now. That will help. Let's try again now. Okay, I'll continue. Yes, that was bothering me a little bit, so thank you for solving that. So it's a very simple form. There are 4 simple steps. So you can see that there's a small series of prompts with the most important aspects that you need to detail. So this form helps you to complete all of the details about your initiative. We're expecting to be dealing with around 20 or 30 proposals. That would be ideal. So it would be good before presenting your proposal to check whether somebody else has been working on something similar. So the form allows you to quickly check whether there is something similar already published. Once the checking process is complete, there is a third stage, which is adding additional information. Once the form has been published, you'll have a week, or the editor of the form will have a week to change anything. So there's 1 week, a week's month to be able to change the information. So this is a time for you also to collect together the information that you'd like to present on the form. Now let's move on to the next slide. The forum also enables us to have a high level of interactiveness. It means that people can join other initiatives. You'll see if you look down there, there's a button that says join. And there you can see what kind of other initiatives are taking place.
estas iniciativas, esta lista de personas que quieren trabajar esta iniciativa será pública, con lo cual es otro de los valores que
All of this will be public, so this is another of the advantages that we felt would be necessary here. We wanted it to be transparent.
todo lo que pueda pasar con los distintos retos que se van a potenciar es auditable a través de...
It's something that everybody can audit.
Y no solo esto, no solo me puedo añadir,
And
sumarme a una iniciativa,
I can, of course, join an initiative and also modify it or perhaps propose an improvement of an existing and already published initiative. On the right-hand side of each initiative, we have also enabled a modification features, and when you modify a proposal, it's not automatically modified, of course. We need to bear in mind that it's an interaction fora and an interaction fora between different people working on the initiative. So whenever we propose a modification on an existing challenge, the original author of the challenge has to validate and accept the modification proposals. So what might happen here? Perhaps I'm the author of a challenge and I receive a proposal that does not really match my original idea, so I will just reject the proposal. But the person who has put forward the modification proposal can, of course, republish the same initiative with his or her improvements. So it's a way to enrich the different proposals, no matter whether a proposal is accepted or not. So it would then become independent content in case the proposal is rejected. And I think that's the end of my presentation. What I would like to do now is to share my screen here. Let me see if I can manage to share it. Eloy, could you please kindly share my screen? What do we have here? The World Social Forum platform. I guess you are already acquainted with it. Using the platform is being used as a work platform, and we have activated now a process that will follow these different steps that we have already described. The process called we accept the challenge, aceptamos el reto. Well, now there is these proposals gathering mechanisms, which is already activated, up and running. So let me share an example with you. So you can see here someone, I'm speaking to myself, these are my two users. So a person has put forward a platform proposal, another person has modified the initial proposal, and then it has been validated. This is a way to boost collective authority and ownership of the projects. So as I was telling you before, each one of these proposals can be withdrawn by the author. It can be further edited to add on information, and we can add to other proposals, etc. So we can, of course, audit the proposals at any given time. We can check the origin and the different modifications that have been introduced. What else can be done? Oh, we would like to develop something else here. We believe that the initiatives that end up being validated would have to count with a more specific and in-depth working environment in the forum. So within these spaces here, espacios, we have opened working groups. So each initiative that will be validated will have an independent work group, and what we suggest here is to work in a very transparent manner. So all the content produced in the framework of the platform and all the work that is approved will be, well, everyone can have the possibility to assess others' work and contributions. So we are still in a, well, this is work in progress. The proposal would be to use these meetings here, where we will open video conference rooms for each meeting and a work pad to do the collaboration. So all this would end up being a file that can be accessed over time, and this will also allow us to develop a narrative. Final challenge of working on the initiatives and present them in October, or in the fall rather. So we believe this will be a significant work, right? We need to support different initiatives so that everyone understands all the work options. It's not only about providing others with a forum and then off you go. No, we will provide you with
Y en principio creo que he hecho una explicación bastante completa de lo que tenemos preparado, pero si tenéis cualquier duda, pregunta, entiendo que ahora ya pasamos.
Well, if you have any doubt, I think now it's time for Q&A. Thank you, Nuria. In the chat, there's a question. Davide, would you like to open your camera, or would you like us to read the question for you? Oh, actually, what I would like to know... Hi, can you hear me? I would like to know... So when... I would like... First, you need to commit to work on an initiative that you... Well, imagine I want to support an initiative, but I don't have time. So it's important to ensure that there is commitment, right? Could you please clarify that point a little bit? Is it... So there are different possibilities here. One option would be, okay, I want to be involved, and then I will enroll in a public list. I want to be part of this initiative. This is a way to act, right? Then there's another option, which is giving support to the initiatives that you like the best. This has not been activated yet, but the idea would be to have also a voting mechanism. It doesn't mean that you have to work on any initiative that you vote for. And then there's an in-between option, which is doing a follow-up of the initiative and receiving notifications on a specific initiative, right? It is a way to be up to date regarding the initiative. So there are these 3 different levels.
Obviamente que sí, está abierto tanto a personas individuales como a procesos colectivos. Veo que Marta Figueroa levanta la mano. No sé si es para pedir palabras, supongo que sí.
Sí, no. Buenos días. Es que estoy un poco perdida porque he estado como en reuniones con otros idiomas, entonces casi que no entro a este que es en español. Pero el colocar una iniciativa, ¿qué implica? O sea, por ejemplo, yo tengo un proyecto que llevo como 8 años trabajando y donde me ha faltado gente que me...
So I've been working for 8 years and I'm waiting for people to support me, right? So I would like to know a little bit better about how does this initiative process work. Well, this is a big question mark. I think that an initiative with no support or no, let's say, stamina from the person who puts it forward, it will be difficult to flourish, right? For it to flourish. So this is the classical behavior of online things. If you agitate an initiative, you get others' attention. If you don't, you will not get anybody's attention. But of course, it is a big question mark. Out of the existing initiative, we'll try and give as much support as possible. We believe that we need to find somehow sponsors of different initiatives. And we are carrying out an experiment, so to speak. We would like the community to express itself. We believe that it needs to be a process that feeds from different groups. And well, I would like to say also that there is no deadline, but of course, the closer we get to October, the more difficult it would be for the initiatives to be fine-tuned and alive. But the form will be open. It's an open call, and it will interact with other spaces, such as the inter-initiative space or the mapping space led by the World Social Forum. So inserting an initiative means being part of these processes which are alive and that provide visibility and continuity to the different initiatives. So again, it's an open initiative. And as Nuria said before, the platform and the different spaces of the platform have been designed for it to be user-friendly. There are video call options. We have been developing this platform in the last months. Oh, here's a message from Alicia, who can't access the room. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Eloy, for your support. So in these work environments with the video call and the work pad, well, we have a direct interaction with the Decidim developers, and in a cooperation process that is being held in Barcelona with Fira Solidaria, well, we can ask the developers to include specific theaters for us. So we are in an implementation stage. We are developing new tools. Some people tell us, we would like to have a repository, like an office or a calendar to store information or to have our own meetings. So we will ask Decidim to activate a module of this nature. Of course, it will not be immediate, it will not be a la carte, but of course it will have an impact on the platform and on the implementation of new tools within a platform that, even if it has been developed by Barcelona City Council, it's an open source platform, free software platform that can be used by any organization. So we are developing a digital commons, a common digital knowledge that all participants can use in our own processes. I would like to add something to what you mentioned, Fer, that has not been said before, and I believe that it's one of the values that inspires the platform. The CDM is a platform that has been developed for direct democratic participation, and it's based on two pillars. One of these pillars is privacy, individuals' privacy. So when we work in political global project, of course, we find ourselves with different realities, different environments and contexts. So in some contexts, having a private and secure and anonymous connection is very important. So Decidim bets for participants' privacy, and at the same time, it aims at a wide scope, openness of the political processes. It's a way to ensure that a political process is as rich as possible. Jason is asking for the floor. Jason, off you go. Hello and good morning, everybody. Good morning, one and all. Good afternoon, rather. So I'm very pleased to take part in this session. I'm listening to someone speaking in French. Oh, that's because I'm following the French interpretation. No problem. I'm off now. I would like to share a couple of comments with you. So on the one hand, I believe that we need, an ecosystem of digital tools that can be exchanged, improved, implemented, used in as many environments as possible. What really matters is that these tools can be interconnected and that are interoperable so that all the data produced and the open code is ensured, and the way these platforms are developed needs to be open and more accessible as possible. At the same time, I believe that we need to take into account tools that have already been used in the past. There are many users' communities, and it's important to bond with them. It's important to make sure that there's a strong link between those who are more, let's say, technical oriented, those who work in the collective development of tools, and on the other hand, users and ideas developers. All this is extremely important. It's very important for them to be connected. For example, in the case of economic exchange platforms such as these, important to ensure that the user's perspective, that organizations and cooperatives' perspective is at the heart. In the case of the CDM, for example, well, the CDM is a tool that has been conceived and designed to ensure citizens' participation. And now the CDM is adapting to new ways of participation with a developers community that is extremely active, and as technicians we need to be part of this community also, as well as users. So when it comes to initiatives, let me conclude here. Since April last year, we've set up a mapping commission that has been working on the conceptualization of different initiatives, such as different ways of transformative action that can be, let's say, campaigns or other events. And they have done an excellent job to develop an interoperable format between different mapping platforms. And this work is still work in progress. We are developing the tool, and we are gathering efforts between different platforms, such as the CDRM that gathers contacts with other forms of platforms, such as social networks, some open source Facebooks, as well as platforms like the CDM that can, let's say, be used to build consensus as a means of going forward. So what I would like to ask here, I believe that we need to keep developing all these tools in parallel without necessarily choosing one system or another. And I believe that we need to ensure that these platforms can be compatible one with another.
Thank you, Jason. There are people asking for links to the platform as well. This is an organization that we are supporting. We don't think the Decidim is the panacea, the solution to all our problems. We think that things need to continue developing and being built on. All of these processes, which Jason has described, are also very valuable. Does anybody else want to take the floor? Would you like to ask anything, to contribute at all? I just wanted to add one more thing. Decidim is a very useful platform. It's open source, but it also opens data so that it's easily accessible. And the data can be used throughout the platform. So we're working on interoperability. It, of course, responds to the need for direct democracy. Because it can be easily consulted and easily used from different platforms. One last thing I wanted to add was that there is still a platform under development. And there are pros and cons to this platform. But one of the advantages is that there is a lively community surrounding it. And this means that we're managing to overcome all of these minor challenges that I mentioned, the cons. I can see that people are asking about multilingualism. Would you like to respond? If I is it possible to put in information in Spanish and have it translated to Russian? No, not yet. I think that there are 3 or 4 languages available on the platform. But the content is not automatically translated. It would have to be double the separate content. So I, for example, use it in Spanish. And the language of participation is just the language of the person participating. Now, there are various projects. And so accepting the challenge is the process of coordinating these. But we've also been working for a long time on promoting initiatives, and we wanted to create this space to put forward proposals. Pierre, would you like to take the floor? Thank you. As Fer was saying, there are all kinds of different ideas and possibilities. I agree that previous social forums have been limited in some ways. Because people in the forum remain limited to having discussions and not implementation. So I think that we're working towards creating more active participation, more action. So we're looking at what we can do on a daily basis to try and create transformation. In particular, projects and struggles that can actually change things. The idea that all of the participants have committed to should be visible. People should be able to coordinate, revise their initiatives. and to create a whole new space within our methodology. Caritas has been pushing this idea because we believe in open spaces. But we need to move from open spaces where people talk and places where there's a lack of transparency to something that is open and diverse, because there's a whole range of actions we can take to transform the world. And this is what the forum can enable us to do. I think this is a good initiative of the organizing committee. And I think this is a good idea for helping us to create to detail our initiatives through the form. In fact, there have already been various initiatives. I'm going to add the link in the chat. This is a directory of initiatives. But the forum itself has got a few bugs, but it's starting to take shape. Caritas, we suggest that we should try and have a face-to-face event where all of the different initiatives can exhibit their ideas and all of the promoters can come and have discussions with them. It would be a very open space, and it would enable people to explain how they came up with their initiatives. There was a space organized by Decidim in February. But we are not experts, not like Nuria, and we're not able to create this kind of space. But it would be good for all of the initiatives that I mentioned in the link for them to be able to meet together and debate. We should also make it possible to modify the different initiatives. So on the one hand, people can discuss and make comments on the initiative. They can support it as it is listed in the directory. But the idea is that this would be a space for all of the participants in the forum to meet virtually and see each other's initiatives, to share their methodology, and to make contacts. Another idea is to get organizations who organize initiatives, collectives, for example, to coordinate with one another. So when there are a certain number of them, then they could create a link to work on the initiative together. They could, for example, try and collect signatures or something like that. The idea is to focus on action plans where people can discuss important issues. And all of these initiatives may be part of the accepting the challenge process. There could be 2 or 3 public events where people can find out about the different initiatives and have an exchange between the promoters of the initiatives and others. Of course, they come from different fields, but there are similarities between them, and that's why we need a space for exchange. So this could form some kind of schedule. This is an inclusive way of creating a document without allowing other priorities to influence the document. So the idea would be to create something generic. And in this case, then there would be a limit on the number of initiatives and there would be a deadline. And the aim would be to ensure that there was a horizontal cooperation. So I'll bring this to an end. Those are the 4 links that are relevant to what I've been saying. And we're very interested to see what happens with accepting the challenge. We look forward to cooperating with the process. Thank you very much, Pierre. I think we all understand that this is a complementary process. Each one focuses on one thing, but of course, it's important that there is a space for implementing these processes. We need to think about what's most useful at the moment to help us create a reality that we want. And this is just another strategy that we can add to mapping or other kinds of approaches. But it really highlights the practical side of things. I don't know if anybody else wants to take the floor. Maybe if you have a question. No, otherwise we can come to a close. I know that we've all been spending a long time online. Everybody's been staring at their screen. Let's just wait for one more moment. I'm going to check the chat and the streaming chat, but I don't think there are any questions. As well as the around 50 people who we've got here in the Zoom chat with us, we've also got various people who are following us via streaming. So I think in total there are around 80 or 90 people here today. And it's a delight to welcome all of you. Nuria, did you want to say anything else? Let's make sure this continues to be an open space. If we want to continue debating, we can open a space for debate around the platform, within the forum. We've already started collecting initiatives, but I think it would be good for us to try and discuss other things, the technicality and the policies about using the platform. So I think we can open a space to be able to continue the debate. I think that's a very good idea, Nuria. It'll be one of the initiatives that we should be developing for the next time. It's a very good idea for us to incubate these initiatives. And this will help us move forward in the future of the forum. So if nobody has any other questions, I'd like to thank all of you. Thank you for participating. During the lockdown, every time we have a meeting, we try to turn on our cameras just for a few seconds so that we can see each other face to face. You can even turn on your microphones and say hello to us if you'd like to. We could take a family photo. We've got a huge range of different people from all kinds of places. Thank you for all of you for coming. Just to remind you, the program is continuing all afternoon. There are different activities. Tomorrow is the last day. We'll be continuing tomorrow. And there will be a central meeting at 3 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have the closing ceremony. And we'll try to do a little bit what we're doing now to try and recognize all those people who have participated. We'll also be considering other similar concepts to the forum. And we'll also have some more artistic contributions. Masha, one of the Pussy Riot singers, will be discussing things. She'll be talking about the Putin dictatorship. And there's also Diat, a Senegalese rapper. He's one of the movers, one of the leaders of the Senegalese movement over the last few years. So we're looking forward to this closing ceremony after such a great week. Thank you very much to the interpreters who are making this possible. And thank you for doing this free of charge. We'd like to express all of our gratitude to you. We've been able to ensure translation in 4 different widely spoken languages. So that's all I have to say. Thank you to all of you. I can see a hand raised. Sorry, I think Jack is raising his hand. Is that to take the floor?
I just have a quick question.
We're just waving.
No, I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Dice que tiene pregunta. Sí, pero no podemos escucharle. Hola, Jack.
Okay, I just wanted to know, can an individual submit an initiative?
Y dice, bueno, puedo traducir.
Yo no he entendido la pregunta. ¿Alguien
No,
no lo he entendido bien.
Si un individuo puede presentar una iniciativa como individual.
Sí. Sí. Está...
No sé si la puedes escribir, Jack, porque no...
Yes, I don't know if you could write the question. No, I understood the question. It was whether an individual can create an initiative on the platform.
Right.
Yes, there's no problem about that. A single person can do that.
Gracias.
The platform just ensures that there can be cooperation.
Okay.
So that question has been answered, right? I think there's a bit of confusion between the different channels, but I think we've solved the question, right?
Right, thank you.
Okay, yes, the question has been solved.
Seguimos en nuevas aventuras y muchísimas gracias a todos y todas.
Thank you very much, all of you. Let's continue our adventures.